It is often said that when two people marry, it is not just a union of love, but of drama, spiritual warfare, and two families who must now tolerate each other both in the public and in the private. But what happens when both mothers in law have PhDs in petty banter, master degrees in over Sabi, and diplomas in superiority complex? Well, welcome to the marriage of Amaka Umeje and Tobena Okudili, where the bride's mother carried herself like Queen Elizabeth of Enugu, and the groom's mother believed that her son is the best thing to happen to any woman. Now, before we unpack the basketballs that exploded like bangers, let's rewind a little bit. Amaka and Tobena met in the most unromantic place possible, in the waiting room of a government hospital in Owerri. Amaka was there to donate blood for her younger cousin, while Tobena, a civil engineer, had brought his sick mother for treatment. Tobena, impressed by how she argued with a nurse respectfully like she owned the hospital, said, "This good girl will not pass me by." Lie, lie. He asked her an irrelevant question just to spark a conversation, and it worked for him. He collected her number, and from that day, they talked, they laughed, and they forgot the time. Before 3 months, love entered their chats. 1 year later, Tobena proposed, and Amaka said yes before he finished asking, mainly because he already started crying, and she didn't want people thinking she had broken his heart in the public. The families met. List was given. It was negotiated, and then the bride price was paid. On the wedding day, everything was going well until the reception. That was when Mama Tobena noticed that Mama Amaka's wrapper had more sequins than hers. "She wants to shine more than me. On my son's wedding day," she whispered to her best friend, who was also the chief gossip in town. And just like that, round one began. Then, when the MC called for both mothers to give a short advice to the couple, Mama Tobena spent 15 minutes preaching about how a good wife must learn to respect her husband's mother and spend less of her husband's money. Mama Amaka took the mic next and said, "Please, make the Bible your manual." The crowd screamed because her short counsel was 1 in a million. Later that evening, when most guests had left and Tobena was about stepping into the car, Mama Amaka quietly called him to a corner. "My son," she said, folding her hands across her chest like an evangelist about to enter serious prayers. "See, I don't like trouble. Oh. I am a peaceful woman. But," she paused and looked him in the eye, "I can give trouble. In fact, if trouble was a dish, I can serve it hot, cold, grilled, or with pepper soup. That's my only daughter you married. I gave you a gem, not a goat. If I ever hear that you are shouting at her, cheating, or trying to turn her into a house help, or even allow anyone to disrespect her or make her home a living hell, I won't call you and I won't test you. I will just show up. And when I show up, my conscience and respect will be your leave because I will handle it extremely." Tobena nodded like an obedient student. After all said and done, he and his wife finally escaped to their honeymoon paradise, a quiet, beautiful place in Obudu, far away from family wahala. The moment they stepped into their suites, a soft breeze from the balcony windows blew Amaka's veil gently to the floor. Tobena picked it, looked at her and said, "My wife, even your veil knows it's time." Amaka chuckled, walked into his arms and whispered, "Time for what?" "Time for that thing," he replied. They laughed and hugged tightly as if the world outside didn't exist. They got refreshed and the rest was history. They slept like two people who had nothing to prove and everything to enjoy. Every morning during their stay there, they would wake up early, go to the balcony. They wouldn't talk much because love sometimes doesn't need words, just the sound of waves, birds in the distance, and two hearts beating in rhythm. And every night after dinner, they would sit in their robes, legs intertwined on the sofa, sipping fruit drinks and talking about everything. One evening, they talked about the silly things their mother did during their wedding and they laughed. But then, Tobina turned serious. He held her hand and said, I know our mothers can be a full Nollywood production, but let's promise each other one thing. In this marriage, we are the team, always. She nodded slowly and assured him she was ready to work with him always as a team. After the sweet, peaceful honeymoon filled with laughter, love, and late-night conversations, Amaka and Tobena returned home with nothing but gratitude in their hearts. They moved into their neatly furnished apartment, tastefully decorated by Amaka with white curtains, green throw pillows, and picture frames. For 3 whole weeks, their home was heaven on earth. Tobena would go to work in the morning, leaving Amaka at home with her online business. She worked from home, cooked, prayed, and even sometimes wore his shirts while cleaning the house and dancing to old school Peace Square. Life was peaceful until one Tuesday morning. Tobena picked up a call from his mother. My son, my head oh, it's like something is pounding on one side. I just need to be close to my only child for treatment. Tobena stood up from his office chair. Mommy, have you taken Panadol? Should I send you money for a test? No, his mother replied with a fake weak voice. Don't worry, my son. I don't need the money. I will do everything there. I'm just coming to stay for 3 days. When Tobe told Amaka as he got home, immediately she packed the guest room with fresh bed sheets and even made zobo for Mama's arrival. She didn't suspect anything. After all, Tobe's mother always wore a cross and said, bless you a lot. But by day 2, blessings turned to observation. Mama came with no real headache. In fact, she was eating okra soup like someone in a weightlifting competition. Her real mission was to see how Amaka was managing her son's money. She would sit in the living room observing like a spiritual CCTV. She noticed something strange by day 3, that only Tobe and her son left the house for work while Amaka would kiss him goodbye and go back to her laptop. One afternoon she called Tobena. My son, I am not saying your wife is lazy, but when last did you see her carry her handbag and go to the office? Tobena laughed. Mama, she runs her own online business from the house. Mama shifted on the sofa. This online thing safe. That's how they'll be pressing their phone from morning till night, spending data and sending hello messages to random men. How much has she contributed for feeding, for NEPA bills and the rest? Tobena tried to explain to Mama, but she hissed and said, my son, shine your eyes. You see this her pressing her phone up and down. Very soon she will be weak like Dodo. Let her get up and do 9 to 5 like other women. Don't let love blind you. Tobena just smiled, knowing there was no issue anywhere. Back in the kitchen, Amaka, who thought Mama was recovering from her headache, noticed Mama's new energy. She would open pots to check the quantity of meat. She would ask questions like, did Tobena really say you should buy Titus, or you just felt like spending? How much did you say tomatoes is now? Looks like it has gone down, no, but it's not showing in the stew. Amaka remained calm, because her husband was not complaining and that was it for her. By the fourth morning of her visit, Mama Tobena had stopped pretending she had any headache. She woke up before the cock, tied her wrapper with holy boldness, and began praying violently in the living room. Amaka still curled up under the duvet, only heard her saying, "Every lazy woman using sweet voice to finish a man's bank account, expire now in the name of Jesus. Any daughter of Jezebel pretending to be gentle but draining good and hardworking men, Holy Ghost fire." Amaka simply smiled, stretched her legs, and went back to sleep like a peaceful millionaire, because one thing Mama didn't know was that she was quietly earning triple what her son earned, doing remote jobs and training people under paid mentorship with other streams of online income. And sometimes, before Tobena returns from work, she had already credited his account with something huge, just for him to retain his headship. When Amaka finally stood up, she greeted her mother-in-law like she didn't hear anything. She walked into the kitchen, selected some fruits, and was blending them for her smoothie. Then her phone rang. It was her mother. "Amaka, my baby, how are you doing? How is my son-in-law? Has he added weight yet?" Amaka giggled. "Mama, he's okay. We are fine here. And how are you doing?" But just as she was about to open the fridge, a loud voice thundered. "Can you imagine? My own son, he will wake up by 5 a.m. and hit the road because of traffic and the city wahala. But his wife will stay in the house, pressing her phone, eating healthy, drinking smoothies, and even glowing more than the person walking. Now who's supposed to shine now?" Amaka's mother paused on the line and called out slowly, "Amaka, who is that shouting like someone that has been chasing shadows since 1962? "Oh, Mama, it's just one movie playing on the TV. It's a Nigerian drama. You know those ones that always shout now?" Her mother went quiet for 2 seconds and then she said, "Oh, I see. The title of that drama must be My Crazy Mother-in-Law, because it seems I have watched something like that. But no wahala. Let me not disturb you. Just wanted to check on you. Continue the movie." She hung up, and Amaka sighed in relief. Little did she know that her mother had started loading her own mental gun. 1 week later, on another sunny afternoon, just as Amaka was trying to prepare lunch, her phone rang again. "Mommy is calling," she whispered to herself, smiling. She picked up and her mother's voice echoed. "Amaka, my Ada, how are you doing? Just wanted to hear your voice." They were still talking when suddenly she'll be there pressing laptop, pressing phone, forming nonsense big madam, calling driver to deliver nonsense. Meanwhile, my son will be out there working so hard. It was Mama Tobena again from the living room shouting. This time, Amaka froze, but her mother, she didn't say a word, not a single word. She simply smiled like a retired general and said, "All right, my daughter, let me call you later. I want to pluck scent leaves from my porridge yam on fire." She ended the call. The next morning, exactly 9 a.m., the doorbell rang. Amaka opened the door and her spirit almost jumped out of her body, because standing at the door wearing her finest Ankara with her traveling bag in hand was her mother. Mama Tobena, on the other hand, dropped her cup of Lipton and adjusted her scarf like she had just seen her rival walk into the boxing ring. The house suddenly felt quiet, and the tension in the air could fry plantain. As Amaka helped her mother drag in the luggage, Mama Tobena stood up. She narrowed her eyes and said, "Amaka, what is this? Who invited her?" Before Amaka could answer, her mother dropped her handbag and said, I should be the one asking you that now, madam. What are you doing here? I am in my son's house. Is that a problem? Mama Maka adjusted her wrapper, squared her shoulders, and fired back. Wonderful. Then I am in my daughter's house too. Is that also a problem? Both women stared at each other like Tom and Jerry in the same fridge. The tension was only broken when the door creaked open and Tobena walked in, tired from work and was only seeing his bed. He blinked as he saw the scene before him. Mommy, you came? He asked, trying to smile and swallow panic at the same time. Amaka grabbed Sam quickly, welcomed him and dragged him inside for a quick board meeting. They stepped into the bedroom, locked the door and leaned on it like two soldiers behind an enemy's line. What's your mother doing here? Tobena whispered. What's your own mother doing here? Amaka whispered back. Both of them sighed. Then Amaka, being the wiser of the two, said, See, let's agree now. I know this house will turn to Fuji house of commotion with these two around, but anytime they start their masbos, we'll just appear here, lock the door and watch TikTok on Netflix. No referee work, no peacemaking. With that, I think we'll be able to protect our peace. Tobena smiled, kissed her forehead and said, Dear, we love them both, but we love our sanity more. Meanwhile, in the living room, the mothers had started giving each other side eye from opposite couches. One had already picked up the TV remote. The other had increased her body movements, but as the couple walked out, they both cooperated. The next day, Amaka, being her usual peaceful self, woke up early, tied her apron and made a lovely breakfast. The table was set like royalty. Hot golden plantains, scrambled eggs with bell peppers, soft agege bread and freshly blended pineapple juice. She called her sweetly, Mommy, Mommy. That is her mother and her mother-in-law. Breakfast is ready. Please come and eat. Both women walked into the dining room like two governors attending the same peace summit. Mama Tobena, who was already in the mood of trouble, sat down, looked at the table and hissed. Where is the food? She asked. Amaka, confused, gestured at the table. Mommy, this is your breakfast. Mama Tobena's lips folded like off that refused to rise. You call this breakfast? She asked, picking up a slice of plantain like it offended her ancestors. I want pounded yam. Not those nonsense you children of nowadays do with blender. The one pounded with mortar and pestle. I am used to real food in the morning. Go and prepare it ASAP. Before Amaka could even blink or rise from her seat, her mother dropped her spoon gently, wiped her mouth, adjusted her bosom like a woman preparing for a crusade and said, Amaka, my daughter, listen up to me and listen very well. If I am still your mother and you still know the breast you suckled on, do not stand up from that chair. I didn't train you to be rude, but I also didn't train you to be intimidated in your own house. She turned slowly to Mama Tobena with a peaceful face and said, If it's yam you want, mashed or pounded, I am sure there is yam in the kitchen. You are very welcome to go and prepare it yourself. Nobody tied your hands or legs. There was a great silence. Then, as if on cue, Mama Tobena flared up. So this is what my son married. He will go out to hustle and make money while you sit at home eating and scrolling your phone. Now, I can't even eat what I want in my own son's house. Mama Maka clapped her hands together slowly like she was calling thunder. She stood up, pushed her chair back and said, Eh? You think I gave birth to a liability? Come on now. My daughter is not a social person like you. Before marriage, she already had her first house. Mama Tobina was shocked. She has plots of land. Read my lips. Plots of land. The 2 delivery bikes that are making money for me came from her. Within these few minutes that we sat here, my Otogo daughter had earned what they pay some people by the end of the month. She even earns more than your son, respectfully. The only reason I allowed this marriage is because your son is sensible and hardworking. Otherwise, I would have told my Amaka to pour him hot water and keep moving. Mama Tobena's mouth dropped like an open kettle. You are lying, she mumbled. Mama Amaka leaned in with a smile. Who do you think bought the new car of 32 million naira before the wedding? Let me help you with hints. It wasn't you and it wasn't your son. Mama Tobena sat back, shocked into silence. She slowly got up, muttered something about going to rest and went back to the guest room, leaving her wrapper slightly dragging on the floor like her pride. The house was so quiet until evening. Dinner had been swallowed. Bellies were full, and Amaka and Tobena had wisely tiptoed into their bedroom, once again locking the door like prisoners of love, hiding from 2 retired wrestlers. Mama Amaka sat with her wrapper folded neatly, while Mama Tobena clutched the TV remote like it was her inheritance documents. She flipped the channel to Arabic, a language she and her lineage doesn't understand. Mama Amaka rolled her eyes and asked politely, "Can we just watch something neutral? Maybe news or Yoruba movie?" Mama Tobena increased the volume instead. Amaka's mother smiled. "Oh, you want to act like a child? No wahala then." She got up, walked over slowly, and before Mama Tobena could reply, the remote was snatched. She changed the channel and asked if she was interested in that. Instead of a simple yes or no, Mama Tobena slapped her. Mama Amaka stood up slowly, adjusted her wrapper, and a full-blown war erupted. Insults were thrown like javelins, and then Mama Amaka pounced. She beat Mama Tobena like she was trying to reset her destiny. One slap had sound, the other had an echo. "You want to show madness? You don't know I have certificates in it, eh?" Inside the room, Amaka and Tobena sat up as Tobena asked, "Did someone fall?" Just to confuse them, Mama Amaka was busy dealing with Mama Tobena laughing, but the noise from Mama Tobena became unbearable and the couple flung the door open and rushed out. Amaka screamed, "Mommy, stop, please!" She heard her mother, and her mother kept on saying, "She slapped me first." "As what now? What did I do?" Mama Tobena sat on the floor with her hair scattered, looking like she just came back from a wrestling ring in Oshodi. Tobena stood there with his mouth shaped like a question mark, and then Mama Amaka, still panting, turned to him and said, Why are you looking like that? Brighten up, my son. I warned you earlier, remember? You couldn't protect your wife from your mother, so I came to do it. Everybody knows I am peaceful, but if you dig out my trouble, you will eat it like pounded yam." Then came the unexpected turn. Amaka knelt down right there in the living room. She held her mother-in-law's hand and said, "Mommy, I am sorry. I didn't mean for things to get this bad. Please forgive me." Something shifted in the atmosphere. Mama Tobena's eyes blinked. She sniffed, adjusted herself slightly, and asked in a calmer tone, "Amaka, tell me the truth. Are you really working?" Before Amaka could even respond, Tobena stepped forward. Yes, Mom, she works from home. She earns more than me. She helped us furnish this house. She bought the newest car that I mostly drive to work. Mommy, Amaka is an odogo. I am the lucky one here. Mama Tobina's mouth opened and didn't close for the next 10 seconds. All this time she had hated her, thinking she was just enjoying her son's sweat. She covered her face in regret. I am sorry, she said finally. Amaka, my daughter, I misjudged you. I am sorry, Please forgive me. Then she turned to Mama Amaka. Sorry for everything. I was wrong. Mama Amaka, now adjusting her slightly tilted wig, replied, Good. Since your brain had finally been reset, let me go and wear my garment of gentleness back because I've already removed it ever since I entered this house. This made all of them to laugh and the couple walked back to their room. Within 10 minutes, something magical happened. They heard laughter from their mothers. At first, Amaka and Tobena were confused. The both women were seated side by side on the sofa like long-lost best friends. Their legs stretched, their hands flying in the air as they gisted and laughed over their foolishness. See us old women, soon to become grandmothers, acting like children. Then Mama Tobena said what actually made them to laugh hard. What if you removed my teeth? What would I have told my grandchildren? That their other grandmother pulled it out, From the door, the couple watched them and Amaka whispered, Babe, are you sure this is genuine? Tobena squinted and whispered back, I don't know, but I pray it is. But let's not disturb them before they remember they were enemies a few minutes ago. The next morning, which was on a Saturday, the two women were dressed, still talking like twins that had just reconnected. They even wore matching Ankara wrappers that nobody planned. As Amaka and Tobena woke up, both mothers called them, and then came the dramatic pronouncement. Mama Amaka cleared her throat like someone about to sing the national anthem and said, Listen up, the both of you. We are coming back in 9 months. Not to greet you or to look at your faces, but to carry our grandchild. So do whatever you know you need to do in that room. Mama Tobena clapped her hands for emphasis and added, Yes, so do it very well and give us our grandchild. And so you know we have forgiven each other. What happened between us is as a result of our foolishness. It shouldn't cause trouble between you today or tomorrow. In fact, it didn't happen. Let it be buried here. Nobody apart from the 4 of us should hear about it. Yes, ma, they both muttered. The mothers exchanged a proud look and then said, We are leaving. The couple exchanged a surprised look and then respectfully excused themselves. They got inside, put money in 2 envelopes. Tobena gave his mother-in-law and Amaka gave her mother-in-law. They prayed for them with the same energy they used to fight and left thereafter. Immediately, Amaka chuckled. Babe, did we just survive our mothers? Tobena sighed. We didn't just survive, we deserve national awards. They laughed and returned back to sleep. And true to their mother's prophecy, exactly 9 months later, they had a bouncing baby girl. Both mothers returned on the same day, each with her own bag packed with okporoko, crayfish, fried fish, pepper soup spices, and different types of dry fish, and a gallon of palm oil, as if there was a best Omugo mother competition going on. They cooked together, argued over who carried the baby better, but in a way that brought more laughter than stress. One would bait the baby, the other would dress her up like a royal newborn. At night, they kept each other company, sharing stories from their younger days and giggling like teenage roommates in a hostel. The couple often sat quietly, holding hands and watching the bond their mothers have now built. It was no longer just a mugo. It became a season of healing, laughter, and a new family story written with love. They stayed for 3 months before leaving without any form of basbos. Hey, African Tales by Karma Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. Before I leave today, I would like to say this. We all know that marriage is not just a union between two people. It is a merging of two families, two backgrounds, and two histories. And sometimes that blending comes with friction, especially from in-laws who may mean well but will express it in challenging ways. But here is the truth. You don't fight fire with fire in marriage. You quench it with wisdom, patience, and teamwork. If you are experiencing tension from in-laws, here are some matured and peaceful ways to handle it. Number 1, you need to stand as a team. Number 2, you need to set healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries doesn't mean dishonor. It means defining what's okay and what's not in a kind but firm manner. Number 3, you need to avoid direct confrontations. If a parent-in-law misbehaves, let their child be the one to address it privately. Choose peace over ego. Pray, forgive, and let go. Marriage needs spiritual strength too. Pray for your home and your in-laws. Let go of offense quickly because a bitter spouse can never build a happy home. And finally, always remember that marriage is not a battlefield. It is a garden, and every gardener knows that sometimes weeds will grow. You don't burn the garden down, you pull the weeds out. Let wisdom lead, let love reign, and let patience be your pillar. If you are not ready to be patient and you are single, please don't marry. Because in marriage, you must put on the garments of patience. If you enjoyed the story, please give it a thumbs up and let me get to read from you once again in the comment section what you think about the story. Let me also read from you where you are watching this story from. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel, and please share out to your loved ones. Until I bring another exciting story your way, it's a goodbye from here, and God bless you.